G'day folks, and welcome back to the channel for episode number 27 of our Cold Trozan Skyshard Spellbreaker playthrough. Welcome also to patch 1.2 of Grim Dawn. This particular patch is in the beta, and I will include a link to instructions on how to start the beta if you wish to continue or to play along with me in 1.2. Everything should be fairly similar with the base game. There's a few UI changes that I went over in the first 8 minutes of my massive patch reading video. So if you want to just see the new UI stuff, you can just watch the first couple of minutes. Or just kind of see what's going on while I'm playing. As far as the build is concerned, I haven't noticed any changes with any of the items. I do know that there were several prefixes and suffixes that were either changed or just straight up deleted. Of the ones that were changed, Fallen Skies was one of them. However, it was only Fallen Skies on caster offhands, and we're not using a shield. So I think all of the items should remain the same. However, with the relic crafting changes, and this is going to be hilarious, or at least I find it funny. Okay, the requirements to craft Haunt now include Spectre, and I don't have Spectre. So I better not lose this because I can't make another one. The crafting of these is much simplified as well. Haunted Steel, Aether Steel Bolts, these are available from, I want to say the Black Legion or Homestead, but one of the base game factions will sell either one or both of these. And then Spectre, I think you can get from the vendor in Malmo. So I could go back to normal and get this as well, I believe. However, when I made Haunt, I think I did it on video. I can't remember exactly. It may have been in between because they generally took a long time to make. It appears now you need the previous relic plus a couple of components and maybe an item, and you're good to go. Whereas before, I think I needed 4 different relics plus a couple of components plus the item. So this became a lot easier to craft. In terms of the build, let's start with the devotions, because there has been a few devotion changes. So over here on Behemoth, the health regen has been increased to 70 flat regen, so 20 from here and 50 from here. And we've also increased the percent bonus to health regen up to 80% altogether. So where is that? That is this one here. This one has been increased to 80%. We have also increased the duration and the health regeneration scaling per rank on the Giant's Blood proc. So we're getting, I won't say a lot, but we're getting more health regeneration. Both from this constellation and also just in general, because health regeneration on skills has been increased, and just generally across the board. If you got health regen from somewhere before, you now get more of it. The Arcane Barrier proc here has increased absorption scaling with rank, so that shield is now a decent amount bigger than it was before. I don't remember the exact number, and I should go and downgrade my system back to 1.1.9.8 and check it, but I'm lazy, so I'm not gonna just accept that the patch notes say that this number is bigger. But also, I want to say it was around 700 last time I looked at it, so I feel like this is bigger anyway. The Bard's Harp, the proc on the Bard's Harp, the Inspiration proc, gets more defensive ability. I remember before this was basically the same as the offensive ability, so we've gained somewhere around 15 to 20 extra defensive ability, and we're at rank 8. So I imagine this is going to be on the order of around about 40 to 50 at max rank, which is not amazing, but it's not awful either. The other one that got increased was the Phoenix Fire. The damage absorption on this is up. I don't know how much, but the patch notes say it was increased scaling with rank. So I seem to remember this being a small number before. It's still a small number, but maybe it's a slightly bigger small number. And the other change to the devotions we have, was the Wayward Soul got more armor and increased armor scaling with rank. So that is the changes to our devotions. Also, speaking of our devotions, if you don't want the Phoenix or the Crab, another good defensive option we have available is Cleansing Waters up here. You can get that for 3 points. This one doesn't heal you, but it will purge any kind of damage over time effects you have on you. If you have an effect that's reducing your resistances in this procs, that will clear that off as well. Any detrimental things will be purged off of you, and any beneficial auras and spells will be purged from your enemies. So if they have, I don't know, an aura or some sort of temporary buff, you can purge that from them. So this is a good choice as well. And the other one I was looking at as well is Amatok, the Spirit of Winter. For 4 points, you get a Blizzard proc, which is decent, but it does require a crit. However, it is a cold damage proc that's available for 4 points, relatively easy to get, and our crit rate is 17%, which is pretty good. So those were the things I was looking at for devotions. In terms of the classes themselves, there's been a few changes to skills. So Pneumatic Burst now comes with a base of 1 minute. I believe it was 24 seconds before. But that buff will now stay active for 1 minute. Or if you have Igor's Eternal Vigil medal here, it now stays active for 3 minutes. So that should never fall off, and you just have another button for a heal, which is really good. What else we got on that? Oh, because it has regeneration on it as well, it also just has more regeneration. And the heal got bigger as well, so that's nice. Breath of Belgothian, this one here, increase the percentage health regeneration to 50% from memory. That was 40% before, but that's, again, more health regeneration. I think we have close to 400 or 500 a second with health regeneration, and then if we had the Giant's Blood proc on top of that, that goes up to almost 1,000 a second or something like that. So pretty damn good there. In the Arcanist tree, with Arcane Will here, we got additional defensive ability scaling. This is actually a decent amount of extra defensive ability. If you do get this to 20 out of 10, which literally nobody's going to do it, but if you did, you would be getting 500 defensive ability pretty much all the time as an Arcanist. So this is a pretty serious defensive ability increase. Iskandra's Elemental Exchange, the energy regeneration scaling has been reduced, and that was another theme of the patch notes. Because your auras in general no longer reserve mana, or sorry, they reserve mana, but they don't have an upkeep cost. So this used to cost you like 3 mana a second, or some amount of mana per second. That is gone from all auras. So a lot of the sources of energy regeneration have been reduced or removed. So this is pretty much a flat nerf to this ability, but also it's not really, because I'm still not running out of mana, so I don't think it's really a big issue. The mirror had its energy cost to use increased, and the scaling is also increased, so this is just going to cost more mana. Again though, 75 energy cost when I have 3,500, it's not a big deal. I just stood here and cast Trozan Sky Shard, and it took me several minutes to run out of energy. So I'm not particularly worried about that, especially when I can use an energy potion every 12 seconds now. That was another thing. Potions are now weaker. Instead of getting half your health as a regen effect over a few seconds, you get 800 flat now. So Tonic of Mending was nerfed rather significantly in terms of health. And the Elixir of Spirit, I'm actually not sure what the effect of the Elixir of Spirit was, because I never used them, because mana was a complete non-issue. But I imagine that's changed as well. This is in anticipation of the Fangs of Astrakhan expansion, allowing you to add special effects to these. So This is a significant nerf for now, and I'm assuming we will be able to make up the difference and probably a little bit extra come the next expansion next year. And the other interesting skill, and this was probably the highlight of the entire set of patch notes for me, either that or Pneumatic Burst, Blood of Dreeg, and what's the Inquisitor one called? Healing Word, I think it is. All of these last for a minute now. That was probably the highlight for me. Or Alexa's Flash Freeze should now be useful. You can see the bottom line there, minus 40% freeze resistance. So anything that isn't just flat out immune to cold, you should now be able to hit with Alexa's Flash Freeze, which means a lot of, say, battle mages who are doing physical damage now have access to a decent physical resistance shredding ability in Absolute Zero, because this should be applying now to bosses who, at least some of the time, who it wouldn't before. I'd like to see some other skills that do that. For example, Walker Eye for Soldier. If the Terrify effect doesn't apply to, I think it was the Terrify effect, there was some crowd control effect on it anyway, and if that didn't apply to the boss, then you also wouldn't get the resistance shredding. So I'd like to see that changed as well, but for now, I'm pretty happy that Electros should now apply to bosses. Okay, and with that out of the way, that's like a quarter of this video already gone. We are heading to the Forgotten Gods, because they have a hat that I want. So we're going to talk to the emissary, and we'll go complete his quests, and then pretend that we didn't see any of the other quests. So the reason there hasn't been a couple of there hasn't been a video on this build for 2 days now, or I guess it's been 1 night, but it'll be 2 by the time you see this, is that when this patch initially went live, there was a problem with it, and I was pretty much able to stand in front of act bosses and take no damage, because the turtle shell was not requiring me to be below 50% health, so if I got hit at all, it just triggered and gave me a 4,500 damage shield, and then 8 seconds later it'd trigger again, and then 8 seconds later trigger again, and so, or I guess it's 11 seconds, but I ended up with this massive shield, and even act bosses couldn't get through it, so I didn't end up making a video because of that. So fun thing about this build now, with all the procs we have, is a lot of the time we can just stand next to things and they'll die. We are going to be taking Bismail. Actually, no, we're not. We're not going to be taking Bismail. We're going to be taking Soleil, because we took Dreeg in normal to get the Rift Tear, which I don't even have anymore. But we took Dreeg to get the Rift Tear, and I want Bismail in Ultimate because it is easiest. Or not really easiest, more like quickest. And I want to get through the Ultimate section faster so as I can get the ability to transmute. Okay, so level 72. I am seriously considering putting more points into Shadow Dance for the increased avoidance rather. And I'm also considering Arcane Will because of that extra defensive ability. However, we already have 82% chance, and then 82% less whatever Shadow Dance is, so less 23, less 22, so about 60% hit chance against us. And then I think we also have some from up here somewhere? Yeah, 2% here. So we're pretty good in terms of avoidance. I think we just continue along here. So we need, we have 23, so we need another 27. So that's going to be 14 levels, which would be 86. So around 87 we should be getting our Blade Spirit. And then we will have about 10 to 14 skill points left over, which I'm probably going to put in Absolute Zero, since OFF is actually good now. Or at least in theory, OFF is good now. Okay, so we're here for the Fenton mask, so let's go get it. This will be a bit of a run. Which unfortunately is not going to be very eventful, at least in theory. In practice, I don't know, there could be bugs. There probably will be bugs at some point with this patch, and so at some point I may have to roll the character back. I have made sort of copies and backups of the save file, and I will try to remember to do that at the start of each episode. I made a bit of a big deal out of this when I decided to start doing it for making the episodes. I am a hardcore player at heart, and if a character dies, I am more than happy to show you the episode and just cut it short at 27 minutes or whatever, or even at 2 minutes. If the character dies, it dies. And I'm not going to be using save backups to bring it back to life. So don't worry about that. If this character dies, I will show you the footage, and it will remain dead. And I will just start a new series, or continue an existing one. However, if it dies or is otherwise bricked due to an actual bug, then I will probably re-record the episode and make note of what the bug was, report it to Crate, and let you guys know as well. But like I said, I prefer to play the game hardcore, and if you're just going to be making copies of your character in case you die, then you may as well just play softcore. That's not what I'm interested in. So yeah, just a heads up for that. I thought these guys were supposed to be having like that guy's name was like Chudthon or something. I swear I remember. What is he? Time warped. Okay. I swear I remember Zantai saying that they were going to be. That's a Winter Storm chest piece. That they were going to be adding like what type they were. He looked like he was cold. So maybe he should have had Frozen added after his name or something like that. Anyway, didn't happen. So picked up a Stanching of the Winter Storm, which is level 74, which is coincidentally one level earlier than I would get this Preserving of the Winter Storm. Same damage on the proc. Same +2 to skills. This one has slightly more Ellie res and vitality resistance. This one has slightly less Ellie, and that is a ton of bleeding resistance. There was some changes to resistance affixes as well with this patch. The resistant, I think it is, prefix that would give you 2 random elemental ones, that's gone, which I'm super happy about. I hated that one. It was like, just give me an item with nothing. It will bother me less to have an empty prefix than having that one would. Alright, I'm gonna head down. Am I gonna bother? Yeah, I'll go get the ring. We don't need the devotion point anymore. However, if you do activate the devotion shrine, there'll be some loot. So, nope, I'm not crafting for it. But I will take the ring here. So we have 2 Leovinus rings. I do have 1 blueprint for the Explorers. I think I have the tunic, but I have 1 piece of the Explorer set. So what I could do... Total Shell's still active. Did I nearly die and just not notice it? Or is that triggering again without getting low enough to actually trigger? Or maybe it's showing the effects differently to how I'm used to. I'm not sure. But yeah, anyway, I do have one of the recipes for the Explorers set for 1 piece, and I think I sold the hat that I had, but I could craft a new set and assuming I had enough Eldritch essences, which I definitely don't. I think I have 1 or 2. But I could transmute the entire set. And then between those 2 rings, a medal with XP bonus on it, the Explorer's set, and when we get to, or when we finish Elite Ashes of Malmo, oh, there's your double rare as well. So 2 green diamonds is a double rare, and there's also a, can I drop this? I can. This is your double rare MI symbol, so 1 diamond with gold around it. Yeah, there's new symbols for that. Not just a regular MI as well. Looks like that, not quite as bright. Silver instead of gold. Yeah, so basically what I'm saying is I could go farm some Eldritch Essence, create the entire Explorer's set, keep those 2 Leovinus rings, get a medal with, I think it's 4% XP on it, get the XP potions from Elite Malmo, which I'll probably have to do a handful of bounties in order to actually get. But, and then we'll have, I couldn't even tell you what the percentage would be, but it's somewhere around about double and change, so like double and 70%, something like that, 270. But yeah, we would be able to level up significantly faster once we get to Ultimate if I did that. I don't know if I'm going to bother, because 1, it's a pain in the backside to have to keep swapping gear in and out, and 2, we'll hit 100 long before we finish Ultimate anyway, so it's usually not a big deal. And I've actually run way further than I needed to, because we're here for the Fenton mask, so let's head back to where that lives, which is just over here. So from the Corvin Sands Rift, you'll find just to the right here, there's a little point on the map, and then there's a secret area just over here. This is a really good place to farm for kills if you still need to get the achievement for killing bajillion monsters. And also in normal, this mask doesn't have the +1 to all skills, and in Ultimate, I think it has better stats. But that is going to be our new helmet. So once we reach level 75, we'll get that as a helmet. Potentially, we'll get the Spellweave leg wraps. This is a really nice proc. Elemental Blast does a bunch of elemental damage. I would prefer it to be cold, but beggars can't be choosers and all that. Having said that though, this is more armor for sure, which is definitely good. It's more health, which is good. It's more movement speed, which is good. Different resistances, which is probably not a big deal. You can kind of accommodate for that. And then +2 to Arcane Will, which is really good. But I do really like the 4% chance to avoid melee attacks on the Death Whisper leggings. So we'll see if I end up using that. This one at 74, and then probably this one at 75. Although bleed is quite low and vitality is kind of easy to get, so we shall see. And with that mentioned, let's go clear some of these quests out. So we'll go and talk to Calderis, who's going to be in the Broken Hills. I'm not going to do the dungeon. I will do, depending on what I end up deciding on for the final build, if I need another one of these weapons, I will do it in Ultimate at level 94, and I will just run around for an hour or 2 until I get another one of these. It may take an hour or 2. Who knows, maybe I'll get lucky. They did say they increased the affinity bonus, so being a cold MI should be much easier to get the cold affixes. RIP my fire conversion Kabbalist weapon, because you're just never getting pet affixes on that fire affinity weapon ever again. But this weapon should be a little easier to get. Same with the shield as well. I'm not sure actually how much I value this shield. I really like some of the bonuses on it, but I'm not sure. Being a hardcore build does kind of mean that those bonuses are very nice to have, because, you know, survivability is great. I'm not going to take that quest, I'm just getting rid of that. And I did pick up the quest for the Moor as well, didn't I? Okay, we'll go talk to him. Eat our conversation pie, get some XP. Is it Ma? Oh no, that's the Merits quest. It's this guy here, Carmack. There we go. That was way too many clicks. Okay, we are heading to the Gloomwald. Actually, with how much time we have left, we are heading to the Hidden Path. So we'll get that out of the way first. For the Hidden Path, you will need 2 dynamite and 10 scrap if you haven't already been into the area. So let's just have a look, see if there's any cold damage gear. Winter Storm on the shoulders. Alright. Can I lose 50? Yes, I can. How about that one? Mighty. Or Shrewd. Alright, I'm going to buy these. So this is a higher level proc than the one I have. It's also all cold damage, and it has a 50% chance to pass through enemies. Also, I don't need that 53% pierce resistance. I would rather have the better proc on the Winter Storm. Also, the +2 to Night's Chill frees up 2 skill points for me, so I'm going to use these shoulders instead. Nice little find there. We'll hang on to that ring. These boots... Nope. Okay, this Eldritch Essence here is what I was talking about for re-rolling set items within the set, so I can come here. Like I said, I'm not going to do this. It's a pain in the backside. I could make 4 of these and then use Eldritch Essences to re-roll them until I had the whole set. You can do that with most sets in the game. There are a few you cannot. Generally anything where you know if I go to this place and kill these monsters it'll drop. Those sets are not re-rollable. Or not via this method, or any method I don't think. Okay, so I've successfully left without any scrap, so I will have to pick that up on the way through, or on the way back, because we do have to go to the same area. Anyway, Hevel's Greatsword always here. I show you that not because Hevel's Greatsword is good, but because it's an easy way to locate where this path is. And then we simply blow the avalanche up. And our objective is at the end of a bit of a trail to the north. Now, I'm going to check something here that I've never looked at before. And I'm going to check it because I'm curious. How far does this go across? Is there anything over here? I don't know. I think about checking that every time I come through here, and then I never check it. So, there's a Skyfallen weapon, which we're not going to pick up. Or, sorry, we're not going to use. Okay. I no longer have the turtle shell proc on me, which is a happy coincidence. I didn't do that on purpose, but now that I've got it... Yeah, there's no way I just went below half health. So the turtle shell is still proccing well more often than it should be. So that's going to be one bug that that this patch has put in. So I'll have to go report that at some point. And yes, I am going to report it. I don't want to play a bugged game. So, where are we? There's the turtle shell at 100%. Let's just see if we can get rid of that. Let these things keep hitting me. Down to a... There we go. Tick, tick, tick. Okay, turtle shell's gone, so... Oh, they're gone as well. Spacebar pause is good. Give me the eyeballs. Turtle shell, yep. It's still proccing every single time I get hit, as long as it's off cooldown. So, you can now freeze bosses, which is fun. Where are those eyeballs? Go ahead and hit me. Right, this big red thing, I think that is sundered. I'm pretty sure this tag not found, tag duration damage multiplier, I'm pretty sure that is the sundered effect, which means I'm taking extra damage from stuff. Mantle of the Patron, no. So yeah, Turtle Shell is broken at present, which makes this a fair bit easier. Okay, I'm just going to duck back to Devil's Crossing and get some scrap, because we will be needing it to get into the temple. There's our stone. We don't get the note this time. I don't need to talk to him. Let's go ahead and... Sure, we'll bring all 46, why not? Right, second stop is the Broken Hills. So I should have done this at the same time, but it's actually... I managed to pick up the Fenton mask a decent amount faster than I expected to. So it's time for the usual Picus service announcement. This boss will put stacking damage puddles under your feet. So don't do like I did with my first decently high leveled hardcore character and stand in the pile looking at all the shiny loot while you suddenly burn to death. You definitely don't want to do that. Although, if you do, make sure you record it and send it to me, because I could use a chuckle. Righto. So we're nearly there. Just down here on the left, or the right of the screen, the left of the character. You'll see the door just there. There's a nice purple item that we're going to turn into iron bits. Okay, this door, you'll see this again later in two other places. This is the hidden path door, I guess. Okay, here's the boss. So the Guardian of Soleil. Watch out under your feet, because he will... Yeah, here it is. This little purple thing on the floor. You can see I'm taking a decent amount of damage from standing in that. And if they were all stacked up, my health bar would just go zoop, and I'm dead. Okay, so there is another one of the stones, and we have one remaining, which I believe is the Astrakhan Road Rift. Am I correct? I am. Good. I'm never 100% sure on that one. Okay, Wayward Soul has leveled up, so that's a little more armor, some more healing, more absorption, inspiration. It's going to be more offensive and defensive ability. I was expecting a fourth one. I don't know why. I think I was expecting... didn't we get four devotions all at the same time? So it was Crab, Wayward Soul. Maybe it was Crab that we didn't get. Oh well, regardless, extra levels on devotions is always good. Alright, these guys still actually immune to chill, immune to freeze. So that's not just they have a lot of resistance, they're actually immune to it. Okay, here's our hidden path door. There'll be one more after this when we go to the temple. That's one way to open the wall, I guess. We are going to skip Rashalga because I choose life. However, if you're on softcore or you just want to die, there's another little door here with a rock here. And you can go in there and fight. I think she counts as a super boss. Definitely not a celestial, but I would probably include her in the super boss category. Pretty good chance she just kills you, so be aware of that. Okay, a pet prefix on the pet legs that I can never get to drop when I'm actually playing a pet character. So that's always fun. Alright, that's our 3 stones. We did just pick up another attribute point, so I'm going to go ahead and put that into cunning. So cunning is now 15. Our offensive chance is going up. I realize that may have looked like it went down, but this is a boss. So it's actually gone up, I promise. Okay, off to the Birch Village. And we're heading to the south. Yeah, I kind of had a feeling that this character was significantly, or felt significantly tankier than previously. But I didn't realize that the turtle was proccing every single time I got hit and it was off cooldown. If it normally worked like that, it would be busted overpowered and everybody would take it for every character ever. Because it's actually fairly cheap. It's, what is it, 5 points? And you refund the crossroads point, so it's literally 5, well 4 even. If you have any other devotion that gives you a yellow point, it's 4 points, because you don't really need the front leg. You can just take like the back leg, the 2 points on the back, and then the head, and there's your proc for 4 points. It's pretty nuts how good it is if you don't have to be half dead for it to trigger. Where am I? I may have gone too far here. Too much talking, not enough navigating. Yeah, I've gone too far. See how the river is sloping upwards to the right there? That's how you can tell. So the river sort of does a V shape here, and at the bottom of the V is where this door is. That bridge that I repaired as well, that was what we bought the 10 scrap for. So I think it may have been 8, but either 8 or 10 scrap was to repair that bridge. The bridge also cost, I think, 2 dynamite, maybe 1 dynamite. You have to blow it up before you can repair it, which kind of makes sense if you think about it. Alrighty, we're nearly at the temple. I'm not really sure how I feel about all of these extra symbols. I'm sure they're going to be useful for some people, but I don't need that one. I know that's an MI because of rainbow filter. But even without rainbow filter, that little gap gets me every time it's up here. Even without rainbow filter, I'm still going to know that that's an MI just because I've played the game so much. I understand for other people who maybe haven't played it quite so much, it'll be helpful, but it's just visual clutter for me. Yeah, that's fine. So we're heading into the Temple of the Three here. There is a ton of damage in here. A lot of it is from poison from these things. So make sure your resistances are capped, well, always. If you're not in normal difficulty and your resistances aren't capped, you're doing something wrong. And it's perfectly viable to have all your resistances at 80% from probably Fort Icon and normal onwards. I'm not saying you need to do that, but you can, and there really isn't much of a reason why you shouldn't. I don't remember there being this much blood in here before. In fact, I don't remember there being blood in here before. So that's interesting. I remember all the eldritch stuff all over the floor. The spiders, all the monsters are the same. But either they changed the textures on the blood, or that is potentially new. Or it could also just be that I'm misremembering as well. That's always possible. So our objective here is just to get to the end. We're going to kill the guardian of the temple. And then we will get a skill point. So where is he? Here he is. I have also noticed that my Trozan Sky Shard is sometimes allowing me to cast it very quickly back to back, which tells me that somewhere I have a source of like chance to grant huge amounts of CDR on my gear. I'm not entirely sure where it is. I think it's in the devotions somewhere. Let's actually see if I can't find it. I don't think it's going to be on that. Maybe on Altos. Nope. Phoenix? I'll stop looking after the Phoenix. Yeah, I don't know where it is, but I've been getting... Watch it not do it now that I've mentioned it. It's not going to do it. Doesn't look like it's going to do it. Okay. Talk to the attendant here. Tell him you've come to learn from the witch gods. You wish to learn... No, you're ready to accept this gift. Don't worry about offending the witch gods in this conversation. They don't care. Alright, and that is the hidden path done. Now I'm going to end this episode here once I have sold all this junk. Actually, I'm just going to end it now, and I can sell all this junk off screen. And there's no gear changes to do, so don't worry about that. So thank you all very much for watching. See you all in the next one, and goodbye for now.